Good morning.
Good morning, Joe.
Halper, I'm Upper West Side at my parents. Going back to the roots.
The Jewiest place you could be, Katie Halper. I'm
It's
Heather
basically-
Gold. I forgot to say my name, which is incredibly un-Jewy of me.
Yeah, it's true. I'm in the second Jerusalem, Jerusalem 2.0, the Upper West Side.
I'm in close to the gay Jerusalem.
I believe it's called Gay Jerusalem.
This was a piece that went pretty viral this week.
Yeah, I didn't know this because I think of Jews as organized. I thought that we would have had last names like before other people, but apparently we didn't have surnames until late in the 1700s, about 1787. The process began in the Austro-Hungarian Empire because they wanted to collect taxes, which is kind of Jewy of the non-Jews. But before, Jews were allowed to collect taxes from within the community.
Right.
But then they wanted to
community.
tax them, draft them, and educate them in that order of importance, to quote the author.
And what happens? Like before this, everyone's just like Manny the Shiv. Everyone sounds like a gangster.
Jewish names would change with every generation. Like Moses, son of Mendel, would be Moshe ben Mendel.
Right, like when you call someone up to the Torah, and they're already
Right.
like, oh, and then you hear the bend, there's like 50 bends in there.
Yes.
That's my impression of a rabbi, everyone.
You were a rabbi. I forgot you were a Heather. For example, if Moses, son of Mendel, Moshe ben Mendel, married Sarah, daughter of Rebecca, Sora bas Rivka, and they had a boy and named it Samuel, Shmuel, the child would be called Shmuel ben Moshe. If they had a girl and named her Fagala, she would be called Fagala bas Sora. He breaks down all the different kinds of Ashkenazi names that there are. And there's patronymic names, which are the son of, that end with son, like Mendelssohn. And in Slavic languages, the word for son is Vich or Vitz.
Oh, like Abramovitz.
Exactly. Like the son of Abram, depending on where you were living, you would be called Abram's son or Abramovich. And if you were the son of Menash, you could be Manischewitz, which I've never met a person with that name, unfortunately. And then the son of Yitzhak would be Itzkowitz.
Women are all named after their mothers and the sons are named after their fathers?
Well, no, because listen to this. Son of Haika is Heiken, although I've never heard of that name. But Edelman is husband of Adel. Gittelman is husband of Gittel. So some of them were... So, yeah, it's pretty feminist.
Anyway, my grandfather, as far as I know, his last name was Golod, which is Russian for hunger.
Oh, wow. Maybe he was a fat guy.
He couldn't have been skinnier. Now, his wife, my great-grandmother, was huge and built like a truck. In fact, she kind of looked like an elephant, and it blew my mind the first time I went to a yoga class. There's a big elephant painted on the wall, and they said, Ganesha here. And I was like, that's my fucking grandmother's name. How has an elephant got my grandmother's name?
Ganesha
so
is your grandmother's name?
Ganesha is my grandmother's name. Where's your family from?
Well, I'll tell you right now. Halperin comes from Hellbrunn. Sometimes they're just based on places. So my family at some point came from Hellbrunn, Germany, which I've gotten that I look like I'm from Hellbrunn. People ask me that on the street all the time. My mother's last name, Eisenberg, and that is...
Berg is like a town name?
Berg is a town, right?
The town of Eisen?
Yes.
And that's also
They're
Germany?
all from... Yeah, they're from the Franconia region of Germany.
So your family's super German.
I guess, yeah. Ones that are based on professions are really cool. Like Nagler is a nail maker, Plotnik is a carpenter, Sandler or Schuster is a shoemaker, Schmidt is a blacksmith.
Adam Sandler's a shoemaker?
Yeah, who knew?
All the comics.
Garfunkel is a diamond dealer, so art diamond dealer. Feinstein is jeweler.
Really?
Didn't know that. Fisher is fisherman.
So
That's
Di-Fi the senator.
Wiener is winemaker.
Oh, that's Anthony Weiner?
Wiener, Anthony Winemaker. Yeah, Tony Winemaker. Oh my God, this is good.
He certainly knows how to wine.
He does. And then there are other religious ones like Ashler is associated with the old synagogue in Prague, whatever.
You're into this piece.
I am.
This has got you. Look at your face. Everyone on the internet, this is what happened when people saw this article. They get the face of Katie and they just get sucked.
Oh my God. But I got really excited now because I just see that there are also things related to personal traits. Our altar is old, like Alta Kaka. Gottlieb is God lover. From is devout, like from, we know that. Dreyfus is three-legged, perhaps referring to someone who walked with a cane. Ehrlich.
I thought someone with a big dick.
Penis, me too. Ehrlich, I did too, I have to say. Ehrlich is honest.
What's asshole?
Asshole Gruber. Pfeiffer is whistler. And Fried or Friedman
Why
is
Whistler? What the hell is that about?
because I guess in German or Yiddish it's the Pfeiffer, it's the Fissel. And Kalb is cow.
Is what?
Cow, moo moo. I'm saying it's good for the Jews.
It's great for the Jews. In fact, it may be the first Jew meme. Have you seen another Jew meme? We are going to crown it a Jew meme.
I'll drink to that. It's L'chaim. L'chaim. A Jeem. Let's call it a Jeem. I have a Jeem. And so do you.
I'm kind of curious, as a Jew would be, about what everyone else thinks, of course. Right. Who isn't Jewish.
So, speaking of non-Jews, there's a story about the terrible Kellers, as in Bill Keller, the former editor of the New York Times and sadly current weekly columnist, and his wife, Emma, who writes at The Guardian. And they decided that they would take the power of the word and their access to print journalism to speak truth to power. So Emma Keller was like really oddly critical of this woman named Lisa Adams who has cancer, and she's tweeting about her treatment, and she says, should there be boundaries in this kind of experience? Is there such a thing as TMI? Are her tweets a grim equivalent of deathbed selfies, one step further than funeral selfies? Why am I so obsessed?
It sounds like she just discovered the internet.
She says something really obnoxious, which is basically like she tweets all the time and then gets upset when people she doesn't know try to come into her hospital room, which is kind of like you were asking for it. You shouldn't have worn that skirt, or you shouldn't have tweeted that tweet if you didn't want strangers coming to your hospital room. She even said, you can put a no visitor sign on the door of your hospital room, but you welcome the world into your orbit and describe every last fentanyl patch.
Doesn't Bill Keller sort of tell us? He writes, her husband then decides to sort of to tag team in, and he writes a piece
so
of the
embarrassing.
Times.
He mansplains cancer to her.
And if you wanted to have cancer the right way.
Right.
Jeez.
He
doesn't even have cancer.
No, but his father-in-law did. And, his father-in-law died at 80, which is a little different from this woman who is literally under 40 and has 3 young kids at home. He compares like the treatment of Lisa Adams in the U.S. to the treatment of his father-in-law in England, which just let him slip peacefully from life. And he says, his death seemed to me a humane and honorable alternative to the frantic medical trench warfare that often makes an expensive misery of death in America.
We'll see what he feels like when he ends up in terminal cancer.
Diagnosed. Exactly.
It'd be horrific crap.
It's just, it's really embarrassing.
Who blogs for Boing Boing and other places, has tweeted a lot of her cancer and has raised a lot of awareness and been a real connector for a lot of people with it who are trying to support each other. She just went after them.
This is the best part of it, though. He describes her as a woman with 2 children. And Lisa Adams tweeted, it says in my Twitter bio, mom of 3 kids. Like, how lazy can you be? In terms of whether this is good for the Jews or not, Jews are more expressive than WASPs, obviously. So I think Bill Keller's attack was bad for the Jews.
Cake.
That's a great cake, maybe. And not to toot my own horn, I'm just repeating you. And Lisa Adams is definitely winning this because everyone hates the Kellers now. It's a good thing for the Jews that she's winning because it's letting people be more Jewy and expressive.
Yeah, everyone.
Because what's more Jewish than oversharing, TMIing? Not that she's doing these things, but anything in that direction.
What you're saying is the internet is Jew saying to everyone, welcome to our world.
Next story is, of course, Bridgegate.
As many people have probably seen in the news, Chris Christie's been caught in this political scandal. An email went out from one of his political appointees who's like, hi.
No, hold on. An email went out from his, I'll edit, from his chief deputy of staff.
I was just about to say that.
But that's not an appointee.
From someone on his staff, and as I've been corrected in the most Jewy of manners, they arranged to have the George Washington Bridge traffic fucked up. And so, Katie, we are going to ask the most important question, which the rest of the press, of course, hasn't asked, which is, is this good for the Jews?
My mom actually said that she thought it was bad for the Jews because he looks like a Jew. He seems like a Jew. Everyone thinks he's a Jew.
Chris Christie, his mouth is only this big. No one thinks Chris Christie's a Jew.
And his name is basically Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
His name is Christ Christy.
Yeah, it's Christ squared. It's Jesus Christ squared. No one's talking about this. This is another thing. Bridgegate, it's about a bridge and the name of the deputy chief of staff.
Bridget. Also, the second most Goyish name in the world.
Kelly. Bridget Ann Kelly.
All you need to do is add Jesus Christ to her name, which when she works for Chris Christie, she gets.
Right.
Come on.
Exactly. But so it's a wash because you have Bridget Ann Kelly causing the traffic. You know what, though? Ultimately, it was this Wildstein. He shut it down. He controlled it. So it's bad for the Jews because it makes it look like we run now the traffic.
But no one's talking about Wildstein in the major press. They're only talking about Christy and his deputy. Jersey's pretty Jewish, yeah?
It is, yeah.
Bad for the Jews that you shut down the bridge. Do you think Jews do well waiting on a bridge? Do you know what it's like to have to sit in a car with a bunch of Jews on a bridge where the traffic's not moving? Unbelievable. In fact, if you wanted to run against Chris Christie, all you need to do is have a recording of all the Jews in their goddamn cars sitting on the George Washington Bridge and play that just at any
Maybe that's how we can help. Maybe that's how we can help him not become president in 2016.
All I can say is the bullying's going to get him in trouble eventually.
The bad thing about being petty when you're a governor is that it actually impacts people's lives, and a woman, at least one woman, probably more people, but we know one woman died because of an ambulance being able to, an ambulance.
Oh my God.
So he has the depth of that
you
person.
You actually may have legal liability. Now that's what the Jew. That's the Jewish answer.
Hello, Heather, bringing out the Jew card, the lawyer card.
In that sense, it could be good for the Jews if someone brings a case,
right?
Or at least good for a Jew.
Right, at least good for the Jewish lawyer.
You're saying bad for the Jews because Bill Wildstein is going to get nailed for this. I say good for the Jews because in this case, even if a Jew is involved, he's overshadowed by the guy who liked Christ so much he put his name twice. So we win. We win double time. Because
no one knows
except
about
for the Jews stuck in their cars. The George Washington.
The Jews, right, and which is not only bad for the Jews, but bad for all the people who come into contact with them.
And now,
any time that month.
And now, not only how it's also phenomenal for the Jews. Every time Jews from Jersey and the city get stuck on the damn George Washington Bridge, they're going to know who to call and kvetch to, and they're going to be thrilled. They're going to sit in the car, they're going to be stuck there for 40 minutes, and they're all going to foment their little iPhones, who they can get a hold of, and they're going to go call Chris Christie. We're going to have a new place to kvetch to. It's sort of a dream, really. It's sort of a good for the Jews triple header. Could it be maybe the best single thing that's happened? So we want to thank our fantastic tipper, Ruth Ann Harnish. Gave us an incredible Jewish sensitive multiple of 18 contribution, which is always an extra point. The Chai thing, Chai for life. She says, I don't think you've discussed Chelsea Handler, who brings Jewishness into her comedy. Now, I have heard another female comedian refer to Chelsea as queen of the Welcome to My Vagina comedy. I watch almost every episode of Chelsea lately. I enjoy her. I especially love that she's launched and enhanced the careers of many other comics, including women and people of many ethnicities. She's very proud of being vulgar, using drugs, getting drunk, sleeping around, and abusing employees. And so I wonder, Chelsea Handler, very entertaining for this shiksa, but is she good for the Jews? It's a fascinating question. Not as much of a slam dunk as a Chris Christie question. Chelsea Handler is kind of an enigma for the Jews because check it out. She's Jewish, right? She's super identified as Jewish. Dad's Jewish. Dad's a car salesman, raised Jewish.
Couldn't get
Mom's a Mormon. Let's start there. Mormon, the opposite of Jewish. There's this fascinating discovery.
Now remember,
made now that Chelsea Handler has a Nazi grandfather. How about them apples? Which might explain why they became Mormon.
May explain why she's blonde hair and blue-eyed.
Blonde, and at the little nose.
She looks exactly like the grandfather.
So she was put on a reality TV show. There's one where they find out where your family's from. They have her on the show, and then they're like, here's a photo of this person. And it's like, surprise, guess where your family's from. Nazi time. What Jewish alcoholic comic doesn't want to find out?
It's great for material.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing in the world. I would be making Nazi grandfather jokes like
24/7.
Come on. I say the Nazi revelation, Ruth Ann Harnish and anybody else with a Chelsea Handler interest, is key because you almost can't fail but to be good for the Jews if you can turn a Nazi family into Jews. I mean, really?
Yeah, it's like the ultimate Nazi defeat. I don't like the message it sends Jewish women about what it takes to succeed as a Jew in terms of your looks. It's like when a very light-skinned African American,
but you have to look Mormon.
So you have to be able to pass.
Right. Well, tell it to Jennifer Grey. She's certainly worked at it. Yeah, I miss her nose. I thought it was sexy as hell.
Interesting. Well, you like Jewish women.
Yeah, for sure. Come on. Jewish women are sexy. How could I hate myself?
You're like, what can I say? I'm sexy. Well, it's been lovely talking to Jew. See you next week.
And unto Jew as well.
Danke.